Hi guys, welcome to another edition of GamingNight. Tonight we're doing another episode of Awesome Board Games My Collection, and tonight we're going to be talking about Dice Forge. Dice Forge is a dice chucking, dice modifying game. It's like a deck building game, but instead of building a deck of cards and you're adding to your library, you're going to be modifying these dice, hence Dice Forge. So before we get to talk about this game and why it's Awesome Board Gaming Collection, let's roll these and hit the table. Okay, so now we're at the table here. I have set it up for a 3-player game. You're going to have 3 of each card. Not going to change any. You're not going to be modifying anything. Dice Forge section here. It only gets modified with a 2-player game. But you're always going to have the number of cards equal to the number of players, and these cost fire shards to get buy these cards, and these cost moon shards in order to buy those. The players start with 0. Now the first player is going to start with 3 gold, the second player is going to start with 2 gold, and the first player is going to start with 1 gold. So depending on your thing. Now the reason why the first player is going to get more money is because he's going to get less die rolls than the other players are. And the reason for that is, on the player's active turn, they're going to roll their dice. So I got 1 fire shard and 1 moon shard. So I will put that on my board, and the other players will roll theirs at the same time, and they will put their die face results. Oops, I didn't want to do that, but anyways, they will all be rolling the dice and getting whatever they are. So then putting them on there. So for me, I got 1 fire shard and 1 moon shard. The other player just got 2 gold, and the third player, he got 1 moon shard and 1 gold, which will move it up on the chart. So now it's the active player's turn, which is the player that initiated it. So the first player is going to start off. He can either buy over here, which he only has 3 gold, so you could probably go over here and get something for 3 gold or less, or he can buy one of these cards at the cost of the shards. So he could buy this right here, which costs 1, and it gives him 0 victory points at the end of the game. You use it right away, and it gets flipped over and put on your board, and it's a little mini game that you will be playing in order to get victory points. Because the goal of the game is to get the most victory points at the end of the rounds. Also, in the 3-player game, you're going to be playing 10 rounds, and in regular any other player count, it's usually 9 rounds. So he's looking around. He's saying he could get either the card, and because right now he doesn't have a lot of ways to get a lot of money, so this would take him a lot longer to get the amount of stuff he needs. So he's going to decide to go over here and buy some for 3 coins. He's going to buy a dice face. So it puts him at 0 gold for this turn. And he's going to get to choose which die he wants to modify. So he's going to take off. So you will then pop off the top. Sometimes you can do it with the. There we go. And then you will replace it. Now when you replace the die on there, the die that you decide that you place currently. So if you can buy more than one of these things if you have the money for it. But the last one you buy on the same, put on the same dice, that's the dice set. So if I bought this, a 4, and I bought one of those red 1 shard things, then I would, whatever one I bought placed first goes on top, and then the second one you buy goes on top. But since I only bought the 4 gold, that's going to go there. And the one that I popped off is just going to stay on my board. It can never be put back on, ever. and then my turn will be over. So then it will go to the second player, and they will do and he just got more gold, so he got 2 more gold, and this guy got 1 shard and 1 gold. So and I just got 2 gold. So then they will repeat the process. Now, with buying cards, you can only buy 1 card. So for this guy, he couldn't buy any anyways. But so this is a one and done. It's 1 action. You can only buy 1 card per turn, per buy phase. You can always spend if this guy had 2 shards, he can spend the 2 shards to take an additional buy phase. He can then buy another card, or he could buy from over here. But in this case, he's obviously stuck with 6. So he might take this 4 here. It's worth 4. So it puts him to 2 gold. And for 2 gold, he might buy himself another one of these. And then he will decide where to put them. So he'll look at his dice and say, okay. So in his instance, he'll take off this one. He'll put the 6 on. And then he's going to take the 1 off. And put it there. So since that was the last thing he bought, that's the gold on top. And that would be it. And then we repeat the process to third player. 1 gold. So then he would say, okay, he's got 2 blue. So he's notices he's getting a lot of currency. So he can take this card, which this is an extender, gives him an extra extender on his thing, and it's worth 2 victory points in the game, and it basically allows him to have more. So if he goes off the grid, he can do that. Or he can say, well, he's rolling nothing but doesn't seem to be rolling a lot of shards. He can, but gold, he can do that, and then his other turns, he can hopefully turn those gold and use the instead of advancing this track, he could advance this track and get victory points. So there's a lot of options for that. Or he can buy this one here, which he's going to do. It's ongoing. So next turn, this will be like every turn he'll activate, and he'll get to roll one of his dice 1 more time. So you can do that. So there's a lot of different options in this game. So, but he's just going to buy this. So it costed him 1 shard. Ba boom, bada bing. So, and then when it gets back to the first player marker, this gets moved over, and you continue doing this and hopefully customize your dice in a way that you will start getting victory points. So you want to get like as many victory points as quickly as you can. And there's ways of doing it by buying cards, because as you can see they all have different values on them. But there's also victory points in the buying sections that you can roll on your dice. So in this game, gold is not what you want to be getting. It's just a way to get. So eventually, you want to get rid of your gold eventually and start just trying to get shards and other things. You know, so it's like depending on the strategy and what you're rolling is going to be basing on what your strategy. So you kind of have to adapt to your stuff. Now that I've gone over a round of play of Dice Forge, I'm going to tell you why Dice Forge is an awesome board in my collection and why it should be in yours as well. First off, the aesthetic of the game. It's very nice to look at, down to the box art. I really like how they give you this little sleeve so you can put all the stuff back in here. I will tell you, when you first get the game, you're gonna have a lot of chits. You're gonna it took me about 20 minutes to put all of them in here. And then there's instructions on how to build these dice, which it's going to take a little bit of time. But if your gaming group is with you and you guys can probably assemble it pretty quickly. It wasn't too bad. It just tells you where to put the dice and all that. So yeah, the artwork is great down from not only the board itself. It's really nice. The board too gives that fantasy feeling to it. I even like the little characters they have for each of the characters. Yeah, both male and female. This one kind of looks like a Hercules. You got a gladiator looking dude. So each player's got their own. Now the only thing that's not that's kind of generic is the pawns, but they work for what they are. This almost looks like a I Am Groot token. Right there, kind of looks like Groot, but like a water form. Very cool. The dice, all the dice on the images on the dice are they pop, so you can kind of know what they are. Gold looks gold. The moon shards, they got the little design on there as well as the number. So it's not just color, you got shape. So if you're colorblind, you shouldn't have a problem playing this game either, because everything's got symbols on it. So it's got gold symbol there, moon shard, fire shard. This is the victory point. So that they went with that choice. And then you got the base cards. They also have the little symbol down there, what they side they belong to. They got little symbols, so if you buy this card, you get this token and that thing, and then it tells you the victory points. So it kind of tells you where everything goes. These are just the base set cards that I showed you guys. They also have like you replace different cards and they'll do different things. Like for your first game, they always recommend the base set. There's some cards that let you hose your neighbors. There's dice that you don't put on your dice, you put on your opponent's dice. I believe it's these guys, the pigs. You put them on your opponent's dice, and when they roll it, you get the results, not them. You get the Subarus. You get a token for this one, and I believe that it's 2 times your dice rolls. So you decide when you want to apply it. It's and I mean, there's this guy here. I mean, all these little neat little. So the replayability is pretty good. So yeah, I got different. So you're not always going to use the same setup every game. So you'll get a lot of different replay out of it. They even give you different. So this one came, the promo card. You got one of these. So I'm not sure if, I'm wondering if this just replaces one of the other cards. So in this case, the first, because when you're playing with a 4-player game, you could put this as the top, the one to replace one of the cards, and it's worth one little bit extra points. More advanced game, you got this elemental here. He's only worth 16 points, and then for every each one of your dice that you replace at the end of the game is going to be worth 1 extra point. So if you're doing a lot of dice forging, this one's worth a lot of points at the end of the game. So that's why you put your dice that you forge on your plate, on your character sheet, so especially when you have that one anyways. So you can get a lot of points with that one. And you can buy multiples of that character too. So you can buy, I believe you could buy as many of those as you can get, so you can buy 2 of them if you really wanted to. So, and this game is definitely ripe for expansion. But like I said, everything in this box has a spot to put everything, so there's no way to get it disorganized. They got symbols on everywhere, so you can tell where everything goes. And it is, with the fact that the box is designed like this, it's got room for expansion. I'm pretty sure they're going to expand it. All they got to add is cards. They don't have to add anything else. And they got room down there for whatever. But and they could even, if they really wanted to, they could even add more different dice. But the thing is, I would imagine if they do more dice, they would probably have to go down and down in that spot to modify more dice. But what you get in the box right now is plenty of value for your buck. And the rule books are really straightforward as well. They're flip fold out. You go through every little thing in the game, very detailed. It's quick to teach. Easy to pick up and play, but it's got enough meat in it to give gamers that actually play a lot of games. But it's a good. It's got this, like I said, it tells you every little thing does. Before you buy it, so if when it's not their turn, they're trying to decide what to buy, you can give it to them so they can look over it. So there's really not a lot of complication to the game. I mean, you're chucking dice and. Being that it's very eye candy, you can get people that will definitely want to play it for those, especially the non-gamers. They'll really want to play it, and then the gamers will probably like it, because once you start learning the game a little bit more, you know what cards to buy when, and how to manipulate the dice to get you more victory points. Although it comes down to luck a little bit when you roll your dice, you're not always going to get that new cool die face you added to it, but then there's other times where you're going to just get a new die face, you roll the dice, like, yes, I rolled that. So it's kind of got, even if you don't win the game, everyone's involved. Even when you're not your turn, you're doing something. So there's really no downtime. You roll your dice, everyone else is rolling their dice, and then you buy, then so then when their turn comes up, they roll their dice, you roll your dice, and everybody's doing something. So it's very quick, fast. You can get the game done in, it says 45 minutes, but I've gotten the game done in like 20, 30 minutes, because the rounds go by so fast, and as long as you're not overthinking and what to buy, the game goes really quick. You can get a couple of games of this really thing. And now the teardown and setup on the second game may take a little while, but if everybody does their part and knows how to assemble the dice and where all the dice assembly is, then it's pretty quick and easy, because each dice will have a standard configuration, and once you've figured out which dice side it is, everyone will reassemble their dice, put them back in the little dice tray thing where all the symbols match where you need to go, so everyone does their part. You can then either play with the same cards you played before, or change a few out, and set up another game and play real quick. So yeah, this game is really cool. Now it only goes up to 4 players, but if you get a good 4-player game group together, it's really good. You can even use this as a filler game while you wait for the rest of your big gaming group. So if you got 4 of your players are already there and the other 2 or 3 haven't arrived yet, they're going to be late, you can pick this up and play one good game of it, and then by the time they get there, you can just put it back away real quickly and go to it. So that's why I think Dice Forge is an awesome board game in my collection, and you should definitely check it out.